Hello and welcome. It's Frances here. Thank you for coming back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I bid you welcome. There is a subscribe button below if you would like to help support this channel by subscribing, and also a bell to be notified as to when I upload more content. I'm coming to you from Ghana country, and as such, I acknowledge the Ghana people of the Adelaide Plains as being the traditional custodians of this land. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about malas, devotional beads, witch beads, comfort beads, prayer beads, etc. And this is because, I suppose it's a bit of a self-promotion, I have various designs on my website and people are just wanting to know the difference of all these beads. So when it comes to prayer beads, there are a whole manner of styles and uses. More commonly, they are used as sort of to count repetitions of prayers, of chants, of mantras, and they are actually found in a whole range of religious traditions and spiritual traditions, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, also in Sikh traditions, probably more comfortable or familiar with the malas. That's also found in Shinto and Islam, and Baha'is also use these beads. Then, of course, in the Christian faith, the Roman Catholics with the rosaries, the Lutherans, and even the Oriental and Ethiopian Orthodox churches all use various bead strings, counting beads, etc. So it is quite a wide and varied tradition, and basically they are used as meditation tools, with each bead, or in the case of these radrushkas from India, which are seeds, to use to help the practitioner to keep track of the number of mantras or sacred chants that they are reciting, which means that they can actually free up their mind, that while your mind is focusing on the actual chant itself, you are keeping count by flicking through the beads. Now, I'm quite sure there are different ways of using, say, a mala in particular, because I'm more familiar with a mala than anything else. How I was taught, you have it around your index finger, and as you chant, you bring the bead to you, and each bead gets flicked off that way. So you are chanting to you. So it's like Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. And in the case of a traditional mala, such as these radrushkas, this I think is rosewood, more of a Buddhist style. And then this falls on the floor, put it over here. And then I have from India, I have these clear quartz. This is sacred to Shiva, and it's hand knotted. Don't know if you can see the little knots there. The radrushka seeds are just strung on like a nylon cord, and the ones that I make myself are all hand knotted. So I see that I've used this quite a bit. The beads are quite loose in this because the cord does stretch with use. So in the traditional length mala or jumper mala, there is 108 plus what they call the guru or the mountain bead. So when you're doing your repetitions and you're coming up to that bead, it's up to you as to whether you stop or you flick it over and you start again. In some practices, I think it's 108 times 108 mantras that you chant. There's also smaller malas which have, I think, 27 beads, but then you use that 4 times, so that equals you 108. In Islam, I think it's the Marushba, they have 100 beads, so it's 99 beads plus 1 extra bead, or 33 beads which are read, I think it's the Psalms or the hymns or the prayers, whatever it is in the Quran, 3 times. In the Baha'i faith, their beads are made up of either 85 beads or 19 beads, and then there's 5 counter beads. These are more like a bead string. So with the 19 beads, you do that 5 times, and that represents the 95 verses in their sacred text. And then within Christianity, depending on what denomination you are, I think the original prayer beads had 150 beads, representing 150 Psalms in the Bible. Within Catholicism, there's, I think, 59 beads. Within the Coptic or Ethiopian Orthodox churches, their beads have 41 beads. Lutheran has 18 beads. And then there's also, I think it's pronounced Kumbololi, the Greek beads, which really are just like worry beads. They're quite a small string. And they don't usually have any apparent religious purpose to them. They're very loosely strung. And I think the only rule of thumb is that there's an odd number that's a multiple of 4. So you've got 4 times 4, so you've got 16 beads, then plus an extra one. Or you've got 4 times 5, so 20 beads plus an extra one. So instead, there's lots of cultures, lots of traditions all around the world that use these beads. So the type of beads that I make, yes, I do make the traditional malas, the 108 plus the voodoo bead, are what I call witch beads. Again, these all come in different styles, shapes, and sizes as well. And I do make 2 styles. There's these loop ones, which are like or designed from a mala, and I use them in a similar way to a mala. And then there's the other style, which I call bead strings, and I'll talk about them separately. So when it comes to the witch beads that are loop, again, these all have different styles and patterns. I'll just show you another example that I have. A lot of these are sort of one-off, depending on the crystals that I have. The end pieces, like this one, I call this is Leviathan. This is the end piece. It's actually made from dragon vein agate. And there's little black carved hellet skulls on there. And there's gold filigree sort of type beads in there as well. It's quite long. You can wear it as a pendant. So it's quite different too. That's one of the key. And they will have specific purposes and uses. So going back to the key, there's 7 sections of 9 beads in it. Why? Well, both 7 and 9 are auspicious numbers. And all this is explained in the instructions that you get with the beads. And they're divided into the 9 parts. So what they use, similar to a mala, say you've got chanting a spell or you're doing affirmation or whatever, if you're calling something towards you, you'll pull it towards you. You repeat it, say 9 times, your chant or your incantation, till you get to the spacer bead here, which is sort of like a focal bead, a reset. So say your prayer, your charm, your incantation 9 times, and then come and sit with the energy, refocus, building up the power, building up your intent, and continue. And then with this one, with the key, depending on how you use it, you might want to, depending on the spell too, use the key to symbolically secure or lock in the spell that you've created. But this is actually long enough that you could actually wear around your neck. So you could do that. While Leviathan, and it's got sets of 3, so there's 3 skulls and 3 dragon vein agate beads there. It's a little bit very long, well, it comes down to say mid-chest. So you could actually imbue each bead, it'll take a little bit longer. Say with the black helmet, say protection or strength. If you're going somewhere where you feel maybe sort of threatened or meeting new people for the first time, you're a bit insecure. So you build up your confidence with this, and then you can wear this like a talisman around your neck, depending on the environment that you're going into. Another design that's also a loop, I call this duat, or the Egyptian underworld. And it's made out of what's called check fire glass beads and white quartz. And this could be used as a meditation or a devotional beads where you're actually saying prayers or incantations in honor of a particular god. So in this case, we're calling it duat because it is sort of underworldly colors with the sort of like gunmetal sort of ankh design as well. Say Anubis, and you're wanting to sort of use or get in touch with Anubis or connect in with Anubis because you've got queries or questions that you feel that maybe he can assist you with. So you can say chants or prayers to Anubis and then sit with that energy and use this bead string to connect with him. Some of the others, and I do have a little bit of an Egyptian theme happening, that are in that sort of bead string process, is this bronze one. I call this the Son of Ra, SONSUN of Ra, because it's got the gold tones and also it's got the sun charm at the end. And here's another version. So I've got actually two of these. But I do make up different styles, different color combinations, all depending on what I feel drawn to. So it's very sort of intuitive, depending on my mood, depending on what I have available to it. And so a lot of these bead strings are one-offs. I might have two Son of Ra's. There is a difference between them, and it could be just the different patterns of the beads. Another bead string example is this one for Archangel Raphael. There's Archangel Raphael at the end. And this is sort of a more healing design because Archangel Raphael is one of the archangels more connected with healing. So the crystals I've chosen specifically are relating to the heart chakra or healing. There's rose quartz, there's fluorite, there's amethyst, there's clear quartz in this as well. And there's also some of the charms, like there's the open heart charm at the end as well. So I do make one-offs. And again, to use this, you can use it in the same manner as the malas or the other witch beads, and each bead you get to bring it towards you. Use them as comfort beads because it's got healing powers in them. Some of them I do imbue with Reiki, depending on who buys them, and if they would like that. That's free because it's just part of the part of what I do. But with these, they are all cleansed. Yeah, so they can be individually made. The instructions do come with the crystals and also how to cleanse and use them. Some of them I wouldn't recommend, probably most of them I wouldn't recommend putting in water. This one is actually hand knotted, and because it's cotton, submerging it in water could actually start rotting the cotton. And the same with, say, with Leviathan, I probably wouldn't say put it in water because these days you're not 100% sure of what's actually in some of the beads themselves. I'm talking about the findings, the little beads in here. My supplier tells me that they are alloy. I don't 100% know what that alloy means. The duat is also hand knotted. So I wouldn't put that in water instead. Incense smoke, elementals. I do find, like with the crystal ones, my mala here, because I wear it all the time, I do tend to use it almost like a fidget bead as well, that you play with. But then this is another advantage of these beads, especially the crystal ones. So the malas that I make are crystal, because then you've got the properties of the crystals as well. So you can imbue the crystal with specific energy as well. So when it comes to beads, whether they are prayer beads, devotional beads, witch beads, counting beads, prayer beads, comfort beads, there's a whole, it's basically the world's your oyster as to the design, the style, the use of them. I do know some artisans make their sort of witch beads very very chain-like, which is fantastic. I prefer, because I like malas, I like the hand knotted, that's just me. And this style of these comfort beads are one of the earlier designs that I started, and it is sort of quite solid. And these are actually threaded on nylon thread. I do also use beading wire, or as in the case of these witch beads and also the malas, I have the cotton silk. Well, it's not really silk. It's a cotton thread that I use as well. The traditional malas supposed to be thread on cotton or on silk. That one definitely isn't. As I said, the Radrushkas, this is a nylon thread. You can see it there between. And has two, and that's a cotton thread. That's not silk either. On these larger rosewood beads. So again, it depends on usage. I said I'm very much into the malas, so I like the mantras because that helps give my conscious mind something to focus on, and then allows that sort of tapping into that energy, and even just the clicking of the beads as they go round and round and round. You sort of get focused, really drawn into that monotonous process, and then that actually helps build up the energy, and that's why I've sort of adapted my beads and used them within spell practicing as well. So that's a little bit of the different styles and the uses I have these beads. Again, these beads here, if you like any of these, I've been just sort of throwing them around very quickly. They are on my Etsy page, LunaNoire Creations. A lot of them are one-offs. So like this Leviathan, if you're interested in that and it goes, well, that's it. I'm not getting another charm like that again. So that's what I sort of like about these beads as well. And you'll find all the links below. So I hope that has been of interest, especially if you are new to using beads in any way, shape or form. I do find that, and it's actually been proven, that they do help if you suffer from or experience anxiety, depression, to get out of your, anything where you need to get out of your head and refocus. I said a lot of them are just like comfort beads, worry beads. This is probably why you'll find similar beads all around the world. So you might want to try making some of your own, or check out my website. Okay, blessings.